What up, Jippers? L plays back once again for another No Man's Sky update video because things have kind of been happening. With No Man's Sky's next major content update coming out this summer, Hello Games have once again been opening up to press and media outlets, and founder Sean Murray has recently delivered another developer conference presentation at the UK's Develop Brighton event. So for those of you that don't know, Develop Brighton is basically the UK version of GDC. It's that type of developer-only focused event. And of course, with this and a number of recent interviews that he's been giving, there has been a few interesting things that have been talked about. Although, of course, none of that gives us any new clues or information about what the third and final component of the new No Man's Sky Beyond update is going to be. So we're still completely in the dark on component 3. So far, we just know that we're getting major updates to the online aspects of the game, and of course, a fully fledged VR mode, which is going to be freaking insane, and I cannot wait for full VR compatibility throughout the entire game, allowing us to just switch between regular game modes and VR game mode without actually needing a separate save or game mode type, or having to go out and buy a VR version of the game. So that's going to be awesome, but we still don't know what the third and final part of the update is going to be, and I'm pretty confident that that's going to be the big one. That's going to be the bit of the update that's like, holy freaking heck, this is what we've been waiting for. So yeah, stay tuned. My prediction still remains that we are going to see the update drop in August. That's what I've always said, and that's still what I think. So we should hopefully get something in the next couple of weeks, whether it's a trailer or a teaser or something like that. I expect it's going to happen pretty soon. So make sure you've got your eyes peeled. Good things are coming for No Man's Sky fans. Now, on the subject of not having any new news or information about a game or an update, Sean actually touched on this type of thing, the communication thing, when he talked recently by saying, "We went about 2 years without talking to press at all, and we went about 3 months without saying anything to the community either. That was really hard. I sat down so many times and wrote the perfect blog post that was going to explain everything about the game's development and the roadmap going ahead, but I could see that it didn't hold credibility with regards to where we were at." Of course, talking about the silence after the backlash and the launch that No Man's Sky had, when they just got their heads down and worked like crazy to try and improve and add to the game that we all now know and love. And he went on to say, "There have been a number of games that have since come out and had polarizing launches. That explosive mix of loads of people playing it, but also problems. And I can see EA, Microsoft, or Bethesda try to placate players by just talking to them. But for right or wrong, it just doesn't really work. You see this all the time when a big publisher will talk to the community and try to solve the problem and then get embroiled, taking up more and more of its headspace." Of course, he's talking about games like Anthem, like Fallout 76, that have recently launched with major backlash, loads of issues, loads of problems, and this idea that people want you to come out and talk and say something and address the issues, lay out a roadmap, explain how you're fixing it. What he's getting at there is, from their experience, from Hello Games, what they've done and what they've learned, it just doesn't really work to do something like that. It's much better to just get your head down and fix the problems. And of course, we've heard him say it a number of times now, but once again, he said, your actions are so much more important than what you say. So with this in mind, just remember that the team are working away busily on the Beyond update right now, and I'm sure that when it does drop, it's going to blow us all away, just like every other No Man's Sky update has. And for future reference, remember that we never, ever, ever get any hints or leaks or update information whenever Hello Games give these developer-centric talks. It never happens. That's not the point of these talks. That's not what they do. That's not how they market an update at these small closed-doors developer conferences. We should have known that by now. We've had so much experience of this kind of thing from Hello Games. But for whatever reason, there were a lot of people on my Twitter and YouTube and stuff that were really genuinely thinking we were going to get information at the event this time around. But Either way, we don't have long to wait now. So that was all kind of cool, and it's always interesting to hear them talk more about the launch and the problems that they had, and also give their views on what they're doing now and the way they're approaching things. But what was really interesting for me, something absolutely huge and super exciting that came out of the Develop Brighton talk, and that, of course, is the next adventure for Hello Games. What comes after No Man's Sky? We know that they're working on the update, and we also know that they're working on the smaller, adorable-looking puzzle adventure game, The Last Campfire. But once again, we heard them talk of something new. And this time, it's clear as day, without any ambiguity. They are making a new, big, ambitious, exciting game once again. Something that potentially is going to be along the same sort of scale and ambition as No Man's Sky was. So, yeah, I'm pretty freaking hyped about that. This is what Sean actually said about that himself. We've got something else going on at the studio, and it's exciting, but it is, unfortunately, going to be ambitious. Basically, we had a little chat after No Man's Sky, and we decided that making games is really hard. Like, it just is. It doesn't matter what type of game you make. You can speak to any developer. You'll meet them right at the start of development, and they'll say that we're making this little physics puzzle game, a Tetris clone. Then you'll meet them 3 years later, and they'll have these massive beards right down to here. And a little bit later on, he went on to say, weirdly, my conclusion from this is let's go and make something really crazy and ambitious. It's gonna be hard anyway, right? Joe Danger was hard. No Man's Sky was hard. There are actually comparable levels of hardness, but No Man's Sky had a real impact. It has hundreds of millions of hours played, so let's do that again. Let's do crazy and silly things like that again. As long as it hasn't been done before, then that's interesting to me, and we're okay commercially, so let's go nuts. You'll meet me 3 years from now, and my beard will be back down to there. So yeah, that's kind of what he had to say about this, and it's a pretty cool philosophy for a studio to have, right? They're basically saying whenever you try and create something like this, whenever you're trying to do game development, you're gonna work like crazy, there's gonna be long hours, there's gonna be struggles, it's gonna be difficult. So what is the point of making something that's already been done a million times? Why make something that's just a clone of another game, or another first-person shooter, or another racing game, or just build on the same series year after year after year? They don't want to do that. They find it boring. They want to make exciting, crazy, scarily big, ambitious things. And that sounds like exactly what they plan to do in the future. So there we have it. Hello Games are working on their next major project alongside what they're doing with No Man's Sky and alongside The Last Campfire. It's going to be too big and too ambitious once again, just like No Man's Sky, but hopefully this time around, they've learned a lot from the launch backlash that they had with No Man's Sky. So we should get to see all of that ambition, that exciting freshness and adventure with this new game, but hopefully without any of the downfalls and the pitfalls that they went into in the past. We all know too well that it's a good idea to exercise caution, especially when hearing about something this early on. But I, for one, am incredibly excited to see what the future brings and what this new mega project from Hello Games is going to be. If it can even come a tiny bit close to capturing me in the same way that No Man's Sky has, it's going to be one heck of an adventure. And oh, don't worry either, they are still planning to keep working on No Man's Sky, at least for the near future too. Sean reassured us of that by saying, for a lot of us, this is the kind of game we've always wanted to make. I know that's the sort of thing a lot of developers say, but I think you can tell it's true with us. The design document reads like it's been written by a child. You can go anywhere, do anything, explore outer space and be an astronaut. It's hard not to be won over by that. It's also really easy to see things you could add. If we were making a first-person shooter with 10 levels, maybe we wouldn't be that excited about adding an 11th. We're in a nice position now, and I think this is the happiest the team has been. Beyond is on the horizon for us. We're working very hard on that at the moment, and after that I think we'll continue to update No Man's Sky. But a thing I've learned is I never like making promises when I don't have to. We'll see, right? As long as people are interested and playing it, it's something that the team here is passionate about. We'll only do it while we think there are fun and interesting things to add. So it's not quite over for us yet, guys. No Man's Sky is getting another huge update very, very soon. And it looks like we're going to get at least a few small updates after that as well. So yeah, things are looking good. And I'll be honest, I'm really excited for when we finally start to hear anything, even if it's the tiniest, littlest, faintest outline of an idea of what this new project that they're working on is going to be. So definitely stay tuned. I will be covering any of the news and updates here on the channel, and you guys know that as soon as Beyond drops, I am going to be living in the No Man's Sky verse once again, and I cannot wait. Take care, guys, and peace. And of course, before we end the video, I want to give an absolutely huge shout out for those Patreon supporters that have stuck with me: Acac, Anakey, Dale from the Atlas Hub, Fuschia, Jeremy J, Johannes A, Jtecnique, Culver, Lukash M, Lyle, Foraday, Mark F, Mark D, Mingery, NTB, Ongrad, Autumn Long, Rasmus K, Technical Gaming 101, the Golden Gek, Todd C, Todd H, Vanella, and Øyvind S. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for continuing to support me.